Hello everyone. In the present video, I am going to discuss about Baudrillard's concept of simulations and simulacrum. Baudrillard, with these two concepts, tried to analyze and understand the postmodernism or postmodern society. According to him, postmodern society is very different from the capitalist society or industrial society. Today's postmodern society is based on the signs, symbols and images, that is symbolic signs and images. It is not exactly based on the social reality. It is not exactly based on the concrete or empirical dimensions and aspects of the society. There is virtuality exists. Virtual dimension is more dominant in the postmodern society according to Baudrillard. What is this virtual reality? Virtual reality or virtual dimension is mainly presenting society through image, through signs or symbols. So human beings in this postmodern society are actually imitating or adopting certain image, certain impression, certain symbolic images, and which is far away from or different from the actual reality. So according to him, this postmodern society is more of a virtual than the real society. So he further said there is nothing real in this society. Everything is image, everything is signs and symbols. And Baudrillard, with these two concepts, tried to understand the economy, power relations and many other aspects of the postmodern society. Now, before going to discuss about these issues, I will briefly discuss how simulations develops, and then a stage comes called simulacrum. Now, firstly, I would give a brief idea of the simulations. What is this simulations? Simulation is the imitation and imitations or adaptation of certain virtual reality. So simulations has 4 stages. According to Baudrillard, the signs, symbols, that is people's behavior or people's activities in this postmodern society through signs and symbols passes through 4 stages. That is, their activities is mainly surrounded by the signs and symbols and images. So these activities passes through 4 stages. What is the first stage? First stage is the signs and images which represent the reality. That means it is a stage where various symbols and signs and images which represents the social reality. That means it presents as it is, that there is no such virtual representation, rather social reality is accurately presented. Second stage comes where signs and the symbols and images which distort the reality, but still there is a connection between reality and the presentation of virtual images, but it distort the reality. Here we can give the examples of the people's living for maintaining an impression in the society. We can take various examples like people's maintaining of the fashion, people's maintaining of the lifestyle through various symbols like cards, then fashions, the dresses, brands like Gucci and different other Adidas and all, which now represent a particular kind of life, particular kind of living standard. So, but still it can also relate the reality. It can also be linked to the reality that people have this kind of the capability. They have the wealth, they are affluent, so they are maintaining this living standard. So it may have certain kinds of relation with the reality, but it also distort the actual society, because the entire society cannot be represented through these brands, symbols and car designs and cars and all. So anyway, this is the second stage. Third stage is where the symbols images and signs which distort the reality to the extent that reality get disappeared. That is, reality or real social dimension, real social existence don't get connected to these signs and symbols. There is no link. There is no link between the signs, images and symbols with the reality. So it's a kind of disappearing of the reality. Here we can take the example of smart city. For example, smart city which presents through a certain system, technological system and various other material systems in such a way that a particular place of a city is presented as smart city, but at the same time there may be slums, there may be other areas which are not smart as it is presented. So here, to present a particular city or particular place, a smart city, certain images, certain signs, certain symbols are presented. Certain symbols are like showing and manifesting. So this is the complete disappearance of a particular reality. There is no link of the reality and its presentations, that is virtual presentation. Fourth stage is the stage where a complete new image of a reality is presented, a complete new adaptation is presented, a complete new science and symbolic reality is presented, a complete virtual reality is presented which has nothing to do with reality. That means there is no such reality, but it is presented as reality. And this fourth stage is called simulacrum according to Baudrillard. That means simulacrum is the extreme form of imitation. It is the extreme stage of the virtual reality. So here Baudrillard took the example of Disneyland. There is theme park. Entire theme park is based upon the adaptations, imitations, signs, symbols and virtual images. But Baudrillard also argued that simulacrum is not limited to this Disneyland only, because simulacrum is a concept which includes various other aspects of the society. So in this society, in the postmodern society, where people or society can be presented in such a way through its virtual reality which may not exist in real, which may not exist in the real concrete reality. Here we can take many examples. The examples of films, examples of social media, examples of various other digital media, examples of various smart cities, examples of digital society, where a virtual reality is presented, a virtual picture of a society is presented, a virtual reality is defined, but it may not be there in the society. For example, social media makes a narrative, makes a particular story, makes an image of a person, creates an impression of a person or a group or a party. Similarly, digital media through AI, that is artificial intelligence, makes different stories, different situations, different social reality which may not be there in real concrete social reality. A particular city, particular society which may be presented in such a way that it is the most developed one, it has a social backgrounds, it has a cultural backgrounds, but it is only through various signs, various symbols, images which may not have any such social reality. Baudrillard here took the example of Los Angeles, according to him, which is completely based upon certain images, signs, symbols, and it is a kind of virtual reality. There is nothing social and cultural backgrounds and a link in this presentation of the smart city called Los Angeles. So this is how simulations turn into simulacrum. Now come to the point of economy and power. Briefly I would discuss about these things. Here Baudrillard opposed the Marxian notion of the capitalist society based upon the production relation. According to him, in postmodern society, it is not the production relation, rather relation is exchange of images, exchange of signs. Like people are not living to realize or to materialize or to fulfill their material needs or to fulfill their fulfill their physical needs. They are rather living in the postmodern society to realize or to materialize or to fulfill their various virtual needs, various symbolic needs, and these needs must be fulfilled to maintain an impression. For example, a rich person who has everything and he is completely satisfied with his living, but if he is not using certain brands of cards, brands of the dresses and ornaments and something, then his life is not presentable in this virtual world. So people in the postmodern society basically fulfills their psychological desire. What is this psychological desire? Psychological desire is to maintain a particular lifestyle, to maintain an impression, to maintain an impression in the social media. For example, social media like Instagram, Twitter, where people shows their particular personality, shows their particular symbolic presentation, shows their particular symbolic images through brands, through particular kind of narrative and ideas, and this is exchanged with other people. Other people also get to know the person based on his symbolic and images which he has presented. A person get isolated if he is not able to maintain a virtual personality, a virtual symbolic personality. He get isolated. So this is the reality of the post-modern society according to Baudrillard. So this exchange is basically exchange of images, exchange of symbolic personality, exchange of various signs and symbols. Then come the another issue, power relations. In postmodern society, according to Baudrillard, power has disappeared. There is no one who is actually exercising power. No one is able to bring change. He here took the example of nuclear war and all other various wars between countries in First World War, Second World War, where different countries different countries manifested their power and exercised their power over others. But today in the postmodern society, no one can exercise power because power is now not controlled by one agency or one mechanical system. Power is not controlled by one society. Power is virtual today. Power is virtual. So whoever represents certain spaces in the virtual world, they get adjusted, they get adopted in this virtual reality. So no one is exercising power. So for him, now this power relations, which is very much reciprocal because of the virtual systems, virtual presence of all the parties of the power groups. And that is why there is no such physical power, there is no such physical power exercise. And even if a party or a group or a section of society is exercising power, but it is unable to bring change. It is unable to bring change because the system is such a interconnected that everybody get adjusted and adopted into it. So this much is the brief discussion of Baudrillard's simulation and simulacra. I will continue this discussion in the next video. Thank you.